I think I did female empowerment before female empowerment was in vogue, because I did that in 2000 and nobody was interested in that.
I'm here with artist Miriam Lenk in front of her sculpture Venusrebellion, currently on display at Deutscher Künstlerbund in Berlin, to talk about her work. Thanks for visiting, Miriam.
Thank you for your interest.
Yeah, of course. Miriam, I start with a question about this work compared to your previous work. Your work presents beautiful visions of unconventional female bodies that really kind of challenge our social ideals of female beauty. In your older work, however, you present a full-bodied figure, whereas in pieces like this, the form appears fragmented. Can you tell me about this development in your work?
I started with a very figurative and very realistic approach. So like Yolanda in front of the investment bank, that was my first big sculpture. And she's like an archetype for me. And I need this archetype to express a certain bodily feeling, a certain body expression. And this expression means take your space and you can be confident. And first I had to find a way to define this archetype, to define the proportions and all that. And when I had that, I could experiment with this archetype, because if you look at the sculptures here, they are all similar. It's a certain body I really feel and I really like. But after I did some of the very figurative works, I started to think about it more from the sculptural angle. So there's this idea of the ready-made I really like, but for me, I don't like everyday objects, but I like the everyday objects of a sculptor. And for me, these are these parts of sculptures before you put them together, or the plaster forms, and this is how they are in the studio, for example.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, okay, maybe I can build body expressions from parts to be more open and to have more interesting different forms together, because I have the very smooth surfaces and I have the rough inside. And when I make them visible, I think it's more interesting to have a thing all in one piece. I really like these steel chains because you have something industrial, something constructive, but also a little bit like a fetish. And I really like if you have this aspect.
These days, in the era of social media, we have a much broader array of female bodies being displayed to the public. And some would argue that this has produced more diverse ideals for women, including non-gender conforming ideals. Do you agree with this? Do you think that social media, the internet, has made the situation better for women, or has it made things worse?
I think the question of the medium is not that important. I mean, when I was growing up in the 90s, we had the supermodels, and that was the only role model you can see in the magazines. You had Kate Moss, or you had Claudia Schiffer, or you had Sophie Dahl, but she was also slim. And this is what we were thinking. This is what you have to look like. But the definition about your body and about your outside, this is a thing somebody should tell you, that you are not your form, you are your content. And if you're lucky, you can develop the content and you are independent from, am I beautiful, am I the idol? And then I think it doesn't matter if you see that online, if you see that in a magazine, if you see it on social media. And when I see the female empowerment movement, there was very much in social media.
Yeah. In a world where gender identity is constantly being renegotiated, you continually stick with the female form. What is it about the female form and femininity that still feels urgent for you today?
I think nowadays, you're right, there are many different forms, how to be male, female, trans. But I think everybody should do what she or her or him is good at. And I know from experience, I'm very good if I work about this special, very individual feeling. I'm very good if I talk about myself, to say it really clear. And this is something Christina Quals does, or Jenny Saville does, or Maria Lasnik did. Yeah. Maria Lasnik was working about herself, and she found a very interesting form to do it.
Catch Miriam's Venusrebellion, as well as a number of other wonderful works here at Deutscher Künstlerbund until July 18th. And Miriam, you were going to talk about
yeah, we have an exhibition talk next Friday. It's the 13th of June. We start at 7 o'clock. We welcome you. Would be great to see you.
Thanks very much, Miriam.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah.